growing up, I found God early on. My dad he did a really good job of making sure that we knew our faith. You know, he did a really good job of taking us to church every Sunday, taking us to Bible study every now and then. So at an early age, I definitely knew who God was and knew who Jesus was as my Savior. So I think at a young age, I had a stern foundation of, you know, every night before I went to bed, make sure I pray. And so growing up at that time, I kind of grew up in the hood, quote unquote, inner city Jacksonville. So kind of the inner city housing, apartments where a lot of things were going on, you know, crime, drugs. I mean, everything you can imagine was going on, and God placed some important people around my life. And what turned my life around, when I was 10 years old, my godfather, John Mike, came into our neighborhood. He's a police officer at this time.
Wow.
And he used to live in our neighborhood, and he came up, he was like, hey, you know, who's the fastest kid around here? And everybody's like, you know, Leon, where's Leon? I would always tell my mom to time me. I'm gonna run to the store and back. I need to get a loaf of bread, but time me, see how fast I get back.
Yeah.
And so they finally found me, and God connected me with him. And keep in mind, he lived in my neighborhood, but he actually moved out to the suburbs. So once he connected me with him, he became my little league football coach.
Oh, nice.
And I actually played football, not for the team where I lived at, but the team across the bridge.
Okay.
So my story is kind of like the other side of the bridge. God put some other people around my life to show me some different things. But before that, I'm like, you know, all I knew was the hood. All I knew was these blocks I was always around. And I actually met Coach Mike, and I met Mark. And then from that point on, I'm like, man, you know, I go to Mark's house and I go to his closet. There's a closet full of snacks. I'm like, what is this? He's like, that's a pantry.
Oh,
I'm like,
man.
a pantry? I never even heard that word before.
Really?
Pantry.
Oh, man.
My snacks on top of the refrigerator. That's it. You know what I mean? So
geez.
stories like that, you know, I would learn so many different things. I would see so many different things. So when I would come back home to the hood, I always knew that, hey, there's something better in life. So I always kept working hard. You know, growing up playing high school football in Jacksonville, Florida, I think it gave me an advantage. Looking back now that I'm older, you know, I'm almost 32 years old.
That's
Look at
right.
some of the things I was doing that I was blessed, you know, with the ability to fight through adversity and then have fortitude. You know what I mean? God's really blessed me with that. When times get tough, when it gets really hard, I really don't shy away from it. I attack it because I know it builds character. And I ended up winning Mr. Football in the state of Florida.
Which is huge.
Which is huge.
That's
I mean,
a
probably
strong
the
state.
football state, you know, in America when it comes down to pure football players. So I was blessed with that. And, you know, obviously got a scholarship to Florida State. And then from that point on, I just always try to carry myself in a way to where I'm approachable. I don't want to be seen any other light, you know. And thank God I am approachable because I'm only 5'8". So if you see me, you got to make sure. I'm like, oh, he looks athletic, but I don't really know. So, you know, football just took me a lot of places, and I'm just blessed that God has blessed me, give me the opportunity to play football. Because outside of football, how would I ever saw New York? How would I ever saw Seattle? How would I ever see all these different places across the country, been around the world? How would I ever saw that outside of football and God placing people in my life? At the end of the day, you know, God wants us to spread the gospel. You know what I mean? Spread the gospel of Him.